You wake up after hours of sleep and already get up feeling heavy. Coffee has become a necessity, not a pleasure. Lunch brings that drowsiness that forces you to fight to keep your eyes open. And the end of the day comes with an exhaustion that feels out of proportion to what you actually did. The automatic explanation is always the same. It's age, it's stress, it's the daily grind. But what if I told you that in most cases, that explanation is wrong? And that, as long as it's accepted as the truth, the real cause goes uninvestigated and untreated. And worse, you keep paying the price every single day. Occasional tiredness is normal and part of life. The problem starts when it stops being the exception and becomes your permanent state. When you wake up tired, even after 7 or 8 hours of sleep. When your productivity drops for no clear reason. When the motivation for things that used to excite you has simply disappeared. When working out, which should give you energy, starts to feel like a huge effort. When that feeling in your head, heavy and slow thinking, shows up way too often, and your irritability has increased for no reason. When coffee and stimulants stopped being an occasional pleasure and became a daily necessity just to function a little better. If you constantly identify with 2 or more of these signs, what's happening isn't normal aging, it's your body, signaling that something needs to be looked into. And there are real, treatable, and very often overlooked causes behind this situation. I'm going to show you each one of them now. Well, the first cause that rarely comes up in conversations about fatigue is vitamin B12 deficiency. Think of B12 as one of the key pieces your body uses to produce energy inside every cell and to keep your nervous system working properly. When that piece is missing, your body keeps trying to function, but with much more difficulty than it should, like a car trying to run on an almost empty tank. Severe fatigue is the most common symptom, but it's not the only one. Tingling in the hands and feet, weakness, frequent forgetfulness, and trouble concentrating can all be connected to the same cause that was never investigated. And what makes this situation worse after age 40 is that your stomach starts producing less gastric acid as you get older. And that acid is exactly what allows the intestine to absorb vitamins from food. This absorption problem gets even worse for people who use metformin, which is the most prescribed medication for blood sugar control, or for those who take antacids for long periods to treat heartburn and acid reflux. People who have had stomach surgery or who follow a vegetarian diet without proper supplementation are also at high risk. The good news is that a simple blood test can identify the problem, and with the right treatment guided by your doctor, your energy levels can improve in just a few weeks. But before we talk about the other very important causes, if you like health content and you're not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Also, leave a like. This really helps and makes sure this video reaches more people. And if you want to follow shorter content or see things from my daily life, follow me on Instagram. Continuing on, still within the scope of lab tests, there's another cause that's just as often overlooked: low ferritin. Ferritin is the protein that stores iron in your body, and iron is the element your blood uses to carry oxygen to every muscle and every organ, and even to your brain. When those stores drop, it's like your body's fuel delivery system gets less and less efficient. And there's a very common misconception here. Most people wait for a severe anemia to show up in their blood work before they start worrying. But ferritin can start causing intense symptoms long before anemia sets in. When your iron stores are low, you can already feel it, even if your blood count still looks normal. Hair loss beyond what's normal, weakness, shortness of breath with simple activities, brittle nails, and that energy that just disappeared and never came back. These are common signs of this condition. The most important point here is that a standard blood count can look completely normal, even when your ferritin is low. That's why you need to specifically ask your doctor for this test by name. Or make sure you clearly describe your symptoms so that they can recognize the need for this specific test. When levels are properly corrected, many people are surprised by the difference they feel, especially in their energy and hair loss. The third cause involves blood sugar, and it's worth taking the time to understand this because it's more common than you might think. There's a condition called insulin resistance, which is when the body's cells stop responding properly to the signal the body uses to process sugar, blood sugar. Imagine that insulin is a key and the cells are locks. The cells have locks on them. With insulin resistance, the locks start to jam and the body has to use more and more force to open them. This situation can go on for years before it shows up in any formal diagnosis. And during this time, the effects on your energy are very real. When you eat a meal rich in bread, pasta, or sweets, your blood sugar rises quickly. The pancreas responds with a lot of effort, and soon after, there's a sharp drop. You experience this as a burst of energy, followed by exhaustion, that heavy, unavoidable sleepiness. After lunch, that heavy-headed feeling in the middle of the afternoon, the urgent craving for something sweet or a carb just a few hours after you've already eaten. Simple tests like fasting blood glucose and fasting insulin already provide important clues. And changes in your diet, like cutting back on ultra-processed foods and increasing physical activity, can significantly improve this situation when it's identified early. Speaking of regulating the body, the fourth cause is one of the most underestimated: the thyroid not working as much as it should. The thyroid is a small gland located in your throat area. It acts like a general thermostat for your metabolism, controlling the pace at which your body produces and uses energy. When it slows down, it's a condition called hypothyroidism. It's like someone turned down the volume on everything without telling you. Your energy production drops, your metabolism slows down, and your body starts running in economy mode. Even when you need to perform, the result is a fatigue that doesn't get better with rest because the problem isn't accumulated tiredness, it's your whole body's pace running below what it should be. Along with this persistent fatigue, you often see unexplained weight gain, hair loss, dry skin, constipation, an unusual sensitivity to cold, and a mental sluggishness. It's hard to describe, but very easy to feel. Hypothyroidism is often underdiagnosed because the symptoms come on slowly and are easily mistaken for stress or aging. A blood test called TSH is the starting point for this investigation. And when treatment is properly prescribed by a doctor, the improvement can be significant, really significant, especially for those who spent months or years not knowing the reason for their fatigue. The fifth cause is probably the most surprising because it involves sleep, and many people genuinely believe they're sleeping well. You can spend 8 hours in bed and wake up just as tired as if you hadn't slept at all. Free. And the reason lies in the quality of your sleep, not the quantity. There's a condition called sleep apnea where your throat partially closes during the night, stopping your breathing for a few seconds, several times throughout the night. Each time this happens, the brain briefly wakes up to restore breathing, but so quickly that the person doesn't even notice. The result is that sleep never reaches the deepest, most restorative stages, the ones where your body truly recovers. It's like trying to charge your phone with a cable, but the wire is faulty. The light stays on all night, but in the morning, the battery's still low. Loud snoring, waking up with headaches, feeling sleepy during the day, even after long nights. memory slipping more often, and irritability for no clear reason. These are signs that deserve attention. Unlike the previous causes, this investigation isn't done with a blood test. You need to be evaluated by a sleep specialist who will recommend the appropriate test. Effectively fixing your sleep changes much more than just your energy. It improves your mood, cognition, the way you think, and reduces important long-term risks for your heart. Besides these 5 causes, there are 2 additional points. They deserve to be stated clearly. The first is that some medications commonly used after age 40 can cause tiredness as a side effect, and a lot of people simply don't make that connection. Among the most common are beta blockers, used for high blood pressure and heart problems, which can lower your energy and reduce your tolerance for exercise. Tranquilizers and medications for anxiety and insomnia, such as clonazepam, diazepam, and alprazolam, commonly known as Rivotril, Valium, and Xanax, are also on this list. Some antidepressants, especially the more sedating ones, as well as allergy medications, can also cause this effect. Statins, which are medications for cholesterol, like simvastatin and atorvastatin, can also cause fatigue and muscle weakness in some people. Often, there's no apparent pain, which makes this connection even harder to notice. This doesn't mean you should stop taking them on your own. Never, never, never do that. But it does mean it's worth talking to your doctor about this possibility, because in some cases, adjusting the dose or switching medications can make a real difference in your daily energy. The second point is that excessive alcohol, a sedentary lifestyle, and a highly inflammatory diet rich in ultra-processed foods create an environment that amplifies any of these causes and makes it harder to recover, even when treatment is already underway. That's why investigating the cause and taking care of your habits need to go hand in hand. Before we wrap up, I need to tell you something important. There are signs that require immediate medical evaluation. Don't wait. Unintentional weight loss without changes in habits, chest pain, severe shortness of breath, fainting, unexplained bleeding, seizures, persistent fever, or rapid worsening of symptoms, these are situations that need to be investigated urgently. Don't ignore these signs. What to do in the face of all this is simple. Stop accepting fatigue as your fate and seek medical evaluation. Basic blood tests can reveal completely treatable causes in people who have lived for years without knowing the reason for their fatigue, without knowing the cause of their tiredness. Your age might seem like the most convenient explanation, but it's rarely the right answer. If this video was helpful, share it with someone close to you who might also be going through this. That's it for me for now. God bless you, take care, and a big hug.